important responsibility that every citizen owes to this country is by choosing your leader by casting vote. Voting for that matter is not just your fundamental right, but also your responsibility, especially for the first-time voters, the youth, the future. In this episode of CityBeats, let's go talk to a few first-time voters and let's get to know how excited they are about casting vote for the very first time, and most importantly, on what basis will they be voting. I'm gonna be voting this election. Will you?
So as the youth of the country, we are the ones who are going to shape the future of our country. And voting, I think, is a big process of that. And by voting, we can only affect the change that we want to see. And as the old saying goes, that be the change that you want to be.
I would say youth are an integral drivers of the nation, and they probably affect what happens in the nation. They affect the present, and they have all the rights in affecting the future as to whatever goes in the nation. So it's our fundamental right, and we should exercise it.
According to the statistics, what we know is that the average population of India ranges in the age of 28 to 29 years. So now I hope you can get the importance of the youth voting. If the average of your country is in the range of young population, then it should definitely be our choice of who is going to govern us, who is going to make plans for us, and who is going to be the leader of the youth itself.
Definitely the youth should vote because they should get a government that they want and not what the adults want right now.
Major chunk of our population is the youth, and and their decision can make change, can turn the table around. So it is very much important for the youth to choose their leader, because it is their leader who will carve their future.
Because the youth today is going to drive the nation tomorrow, and it's very important for the youth to decide who they want as a decision makers, as change makers for the nation, for the changes that they want to be seen incorporated in the nation in the coming years. It's for them to decide who they want to see as a flag bearers for the change. So it's very important that they actually vote.
One person should also not just see what benefits they would get from that particular candidate, what the candidate has promised or the party has promised, but also they have to see the holistic view, what the candidate has for the nation.
Being given the right to vote as the citizen of this country, I would like that the agenda of the person you are voting for should be kept in mind. You should clearly know that what the person has performed in the last duration of 5 years and what his plans for the next 5 years are.
First thing that they should keep in mind is not to get carried away by the image of the people who are standing for the votes, like the people who are supposed to be voted for. The first thing that they should keep in mind is what each of the candidates actually offer as a part of the party, and how much they actually benefit. They should put aside personal preferences and look at who can actually bring about a change in the nation. That's probably the most important thing one has to look for.
Is the government looking forward to the youth development of our country? Are the laws and the policies being put forward in accordance with what the vision of the youth is and in the country in whole generally? And lastly, the overall development of our country from a growing economy to a developed economy should be on the agenda of the government that we are choosing.
So with the current trend of events, it is very easy to become irrational with the social media movement in place, and there is a lot of influence. There are a lot of information sources there. Some of them are not credible enough. So it becomes very tough to choose as to what may be credible, what is right, what is wrong. So I think we should not stick to just the sources of media. We should not limit ourselves to those. We should also depend on the right kind of media, as in what exactly, how the policies or how the changes have been effected in the last 5 years. What was promised and as to what happened, to what level was it achieved. This is one thing that should be kept in mind.
It's not just one candidate that you're voting for, it's the whole party and it's the whole nation. It will not just affect your area, but it will affect the whole country. You should see what the party plans to do in the next 5 years. How is it performed in the last elections, and did it actually fulfill its promises? and you should see overall. Like, you should not just go see one leader that the party has and think that that is what the party is going to be. You should see the overall party and then vote.
I would be going for the candidate because there are many factors in a political party which can affect and change the decision making. But when it is a candidate who goes forward, if he or she is very strong enough and very determined to make a change for the good for the people, so that will take our country way forward in the world.
So I think it's very tough to pick one of those because it is always a balance of both. So I mean, when you're picking for a good candidate, you tend to pick a good candidate for the things he's done, for the qualifications he has, and the changes he'll be able to affect. But at the same time, if he's not here, I mean, if he wins the election and if he's an MP, and maybe the party is not in power, it will be tough for him to effect these changes. So it is a balance of both.
It should definitely be the party that you are voting for, because it is always the party that takes the nation forward, and it is not one single person. It is always the team that plays behind as a whole.
We should be voting for a party, not just a local leader, because a party is what makes the decisions together. It's not just that one person will decide.
So I think both of these parameters need to be taken in consideration equally. For example, a party that has ideologies that benefit the country as a whole, and a local candidate who looks for the development of the area as his prime priority. I think a mix of both of these should be taken into consideration while choosing a candidate.
See, as someone who's contesting from my area is someone I would probably personally know. So it would be a very easy choice for me to vote for that candidate. But again, I do not think it would be wise enough if we do not and look at the other candidates that are there and see what they can offer. Like it is always much more wiser to vote for a deserving candidate rather than to vote for a known candidate or someone we have known being in the elections for a very long time.
So that depends on who the candidate is and from what locality he is standing from. If he is a national medal candidate, someone like Modi was from Varanasi, anyone like that, maybe you have to take in both the factors into consideration. But someone who is focused on local development and maybe your area is not such that is well developed and requires a lot of attention, at that point of time I think one should focus on the candidate who is more focused on the local development.
It is again important that what the candidate has for the country, be it the president, be the prime ministerial candidate or a candidate from my own area. It is important what they have for us and whether those objectives can make a change for us or not.
If you're going for managing a country or governing a country, it should be more of a person who can holistically deal with things, because it is always a trade-off. If you are developing one region, some other region might be compromised. It is a might be, obviously. So you cannot achieve a holistic development by being equal to all. So in some places you will give less, in some places you will give more. So I feel that it should be always a prime ministerial candidate and not a specific individual who will be only fighting for my location or my region.
Charity begins at home, so the local change is what I'll seek because of the fact that I'll be voting from that area. I have my voting rights, I'm obviously voting as a citizen of the nation.
I would rather be voting for the prime minister candidate because there the decisions are made at a central level, and my local leader, even if he's good, then also I need the whole country to be good because I might be moving around the country. I'll not be staying at the same place. So even if the local leader is good but the central leader is not good, then I don't think it will help me much. So I'll be voting for the prime ministerial candidate.
Anyone who is deserving enough to bring the change can eventually become a prime minister candidate or potential leader for the nation. Like, you do not need to be tagged as a prime ministerial candidate before the election starts.
I am going to vote this election.
My name is Kriti. I will be voting this time.
My name is Oritra. I'll be voting these elections.
I'm Yashodhan. I'll be voting for these elections.
My name is Tashwat and I will be voting this election.
My name is Tanuj and I'll be voting this election. Will you?
Will you?
Will you? Will you?
Will you?
Will you?